Much like your dating life, you've probably been rejected multiple times during job interviews. Lucky for you, I'm a recruiter and not a dating coach. And today, you're going to learn how to answer those behavioral-based questions like, can you tell me about a time you solved a problem, or how do you handle customer conflict? I guarantee your interview game will level up because I'm about to share the STAR method. Towards the end, I will also reveal my personal secret on how I took my interview riz to the next level. Before we get to the STAR method though, we need to take a step back and understand why companies ask these types of questions. A meta-analysis in 1998 by Schmidt and Hunter showed that structured interviews have a higher predictive validity, 0.51 or 51%, compared to unstructured interviews, 0.38%. This means employers rely on these types of questions to determine the probability that you will be a good hire. By asking candidates to describe specific past experiences, interviewers can assess how candidates are likely going to handle situations that are similar in the future. We now know why companies use behavioral-based questions, but why should we use the STAR method? There are many reasons, but the one I want to focus on today is cognitive load, which is probably the main one. The STAR method provides a framework that reduces cognitive load for candidates. By having a clear structure to follow, you are better able to organize your thoughts and deliver more coherent responses. This is supported by research in cognitive psychology, a study that stands true to this day by Sweller J. in 1988. It suggests that structured formats help individuals process information more efficiently, which ultimately leads to better communication. Therefore, if you and the interviewer can communicate better, then the chances of you moving on to the next round or even landing the offer increase dramatically. Okay, now that I bored you with the details and behind the scenes, let's get to the actual STAR method and how to use it. STAR is an acronym. It stands for situation, task, action, and result. Let's use an example. If I was to ask you, tell me about a time where you solved a complex problem, you could answer by saying something along the lines of, during my time at X company, our team faced declining sales compared to our previous quarter. I was tasked with the need to increase revenue by 10%. I launched a new marketing campaign targeting our key demographics across Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. This boosted our sales by 15% in 3 months, and we also learned what social media platforms work best for us. This is obviously a short example, but typically you want your responses to be between 3 to 4 minutes. It varies based off the role, the company, as well as how long your interview is. If you would like me to cover a more in-depth example regarding the field of study that you're in or the industry, just leave me a comment and I'll do my best to get to it. Personally, what is best for me is that I like to write them down because I'm a visual learner and then practice them saying them out loud so that it comes out more naturally when I'm actually in the interview. Now, for my personal insider tip. Remember how I said your responses should be 2 to 4 minutes long? Well, the reason for that is because in my experience, the most common pitfall that hiring managers tell me is one of two things. 1, you ramble, or 2, your answers are too short. So how do you fix this? Well, I'm glad you asked. At the end of your STAR method response, which should not be longer than 4 minutes, this is what you want to say. That was a quick summary, but I'm happy to dive deeper into a specific part if you would like. What this does is it puts the control back onto the interviewer's hand. If they feel satisfied with your answer, they'll just move on. However, if they think you were too short, then they'll probably ask you to dive deeper or to clarify a certain thing with a follow-up question. But they now know that you're aware that it's a short answer and they don't tie that back into you being a bad communicator. It actually makes you a candidate that is self-aware. And everybody loves a good self-aware person. So if this was helpful for you, the best way to support me is by following me or subscribing to me. And if you're not interviewing at this very moment, just feel free to save the video or honestly, just send it to someone who talks a lot. Finally, best of luck on your interviews and your dating life.